Former North Melbourne coach Brad Scott is set to meet Essendon today in an official interview for the club's senior coaching role. Scott has firmed his favourite to take over the vacant role after having meaningful dialogue with the club over the past month. Watch the video above. 7 News report Mitch Cleary explains why Brad Scott has firmed his favourite to coach the Bombers. Analysis, local footy and the biggest moments. 7 and 7plus are the home of footy shows for every fan. Stream them all for free on 7plus. Scott, the twin brother of Premiership coach Chris, coached at North Melbourne for almost 10 seasons before stepping down midway through the 2019 season. After that he was head of AFL Victoria before being hired by the AFL as football manager, with a portfolio that included talent pathways, game analysis, and umpiring, at the end of 2021. 7 News reporter Mitch Cleary says the Bombers' interest in Scott has been bubbling for several weeks. Loading tweet: It's understood Scott has held meaningful dialogue with Essendon in the past month, and that will only increase off the back of the appointment of director of Andrew Welsh, who is a big Scott fan, Cleary said. Scott is now into favouritism for the role ahead of Melbourne assistant Adam Uze, who has met with Essendon twice. Welsh, a former player who's had a successful career in property development, was added to Essendon's board of directors just 2 days ago, replacing Simon Madden. Despite that, Essendon great Matthew Lloyd said Scott's tour of Essendon doesn't mean his appointment is a fait accompli. Speaking on the AFL's trade radio, Lloyd said former coach James Uze had presented really well. Lloyd said he had faith that the process would be followed and Scott still had to present well and beat the others to be appointed. But Lloyd believed Scott was the type of personality Essendon needed. I'm pretty excited, to be honest, that someone of that quality has said they now want to coach the club, he said. Brad Scott can walk in and handle the coteries, handle supporters. I think he would be the favourite for the job as we stand here right now. Essendon is keen to hire an experienced person to replace Ben Bruton, who they sacked at the end of the season in controversial circumstances. The club then made a last-gasp attempt to lure 4-time Premiership coach Alistair Clarkson to the role, but Clarkson revealed they were too late and he had been committed to coaching North Melbourne in 2023. St Kilda assistant Brendan Lade was also in the running, but he has now joined the Western Bulldogs assistant coaching ranks. Scott has yet to publicly comment on reports that Essendon have now targeted him to replace Bruton. With Op.